welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. I hope you're doing really well wherever or whenever in the world that you are, whenever you're finding me. Hello and welcome. I hope you're enjoying this change of season. Where I am, it's starting to get quite warm. So I hope you're all staying cool or comfortable wherever you are in this beautiful green earth that we have. Today we're gonna be filming my June TBR video. I'm very excited. We love a round of reading roulette in this household. I just love that there's endless possibilities of what we could read. It's so exciting. If you're new here, reading roulette is a game that I play to help me pick my monthly TBR. Essentially, I have 2 randomizer wheels and I spin each one, combine it for a reading prompt, and then I choose a book. I typically try and find 5 books, but there are some ways that I could read more. Hopefully we'll stay in that 5 book range. If we go above that, I always tend to get a bit anxious, so we shall see. Before we jump into my June reading, we'll do a quick recap of my May reading roulette, and I'll let you know my status. You'll have to stick around for my May wrap up to hear a little bit more about my thoughts and my ratings, all of that jazz. So for May, I had 5 picks. The first pick was a poetry with a favorite trope of mine. And for this, I read Fantasy Romance, Poems of Myth and Magic, I believe, by Cassia Hall. I'll put the picture up here. I picked that up. My second spin was a science fiction read that was seasonal in some way, shape, or form. And so for this, I picked The Surviving Sky. I'm forgetting the author in this moment, but as always, I'll have the picture here. I've started this book this morning, and so I anticipate finishing it before the end of the month. It's currently May 27th, so I have a few more days to try and finish this sci-fi. My next spin was a graphic novel by a BIPOC author. I decided to read some manga for this, and I picked up the first volume of Sailor Moon. It was fun. My fourth spin was a classic that had some form of disability representation. For this, I ended up reading The Secret Garden. And then my fifth and final spin was another poetry collection with LGBTQIA representation. And so I read Black Girl Call Home by Jasmine Mans. So, all things considered, I read, or at least attempted, 5 out of 5. So yay me. Whoop whoop. Before playing our next round of reading roulette, I do just want to kind of name a few reading obligations that I have for the month of June that are outside of reading roulette. For Broad to Book, the book club that I'm in with my mom and my sisters and some of our family friends, our next read is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Very excited for a light, hopefully light, fun, summery beach read. For the book club that I'm in with my apartment community, we're actually reading something that I've know nothing about. It's called The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. I believe it's historical fiction. I don't know anything else other than that, really. For the book club that I'm in with my college best friends, it's called Bibliophile Biddies. We were reading A Gentleman in Moscow. However, the consensus has sort of been that people are not in the right headspace to read something that I guess requires too much brain power. I haven't even started the book, and so we've decided to kind of take a pause and maybe reassess what we want to read now that it's the summer and it's warmer over here. So we've kind of canceled that read and are in the process of picking something new. I'll also be very casually participating in Queer Lit Readathon. I know that it's held kind of throughout the year. There's queer weekends that they're doing these like reading prompts, and the big months to read queer literature is June and December. I'll make sure I put the co-hosts, I'll put their channel information down below, so if you want to watch their announcement video, you can do that. I'm not going to set a TBR for that. It's just something I want to be mindful of in June, because June here in the US is Pride Month. For the buzzwordathon reading challenge, I believe the June prompt is a repeating word, and so if any of my reading roulette picks fit that, great. If not, I'll come back to it at the end and figure out something to read. Alrighty, now that we've got all of the other stuff, all the housekeeping things out of the way, it's time to play reading roulette. I've got my sticky note and pen so that I hopefully don't make any errors I have in the past not counted correctly, and it cost me so much stress. So we're gonna be We're gonna take our time and make sure we write everything down. Alrighty, here we go. Spin number 1. What genre are we gonna read? I'll turn up the volume a little. Okay. For those of you who might not know, science fiction is not my favorite genre. It is one of the genres that I included in my reading outside my comfort zone goal from the beginning of the year. So that's a win. So I've got to read a science fiction. Let's see what kind of science fiction we're going to be reading. I've been trying to finish Harrow the Ninth, so anti-TBR. That's like the opposite of what I just said. Anti-TBR are books that I am not at all wanting to read. Let's do a little research. Let's look at maybe a Goodreads science fiction list. It's a little warm in here. I gotta turn on my fan. Sorry if you can hear it. I could read Dune. I have not been wanting to read this at all. I haven't seen the movies, but I've heard good things. I just feel like a weird stick in the mud about it. But I guess it would count under this prompt, so something to consider. I guess I could also read Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I've had no desire to read that book. I feel neutral about the movies. Like the newer ones with Chris Pratt are fun, but I don't feel incredibly like motivated to read it. But I guess that would qualify under here as an anti-TBR pick. I'm like also trying to maybe pick something that's not so long. I could also pick up Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is also a series that I've not been very intrigued to pick up, but I guess I could give it a try. I feel like I remember reading that Pierce Brown is kind of an ick author, but I don't know why I think that exactly. The other one I could maybe consider picking up is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I've not read anything by this author, and I have, you know, no tremendous interest to read this series, but I do feel like I've heard good things. It's like maybe I'll pick that up. I don't know. All right, those are a few options that at least get me going. I'll let you know in the June wrap up what I definitively end up picking up. But that's our first pick, a science fiction that is an anti-TBR book. Moving into spin number 2, I really would love to read some light, fun, fast-paced books. So I would love to pick any genre that's like that. Okay. You may not know it, but I've been on a real historical romance kick at this moment in time of filming. And so this is right up my alley. Let us see what kind of historical romance we're gonna read. This is where problems can come up. So we shall see, we shall see, we shall see. I have no preference though. I guess anything fun would be good. Huh. Animals. Okay, considering that we have to pick up a historical romance, I don't think it's gonna be with animals as the center characters. So maybe it might be something I'm looking for with the animal on the cover or with an animal companion / sidekick. Maybe one of the characters has to work with animals. Okay, hold please, let's do some research. I could read from Tessa Dare, the Girl Meets Duke series. I read this back in like 2018, 2019. One of the installments, the third one called The Wallflower Wager, has a character who loves animals. So maybe I pick this up again. It's been a long time. I genuinely don't remember anything about it, to be honest. A book that popped up in my research, although I'm not entirely sure what it has to do with animals, like I don't know the role animals play, is called Third Son's a Charm by Shauna Galen. could be worth a go. Maybe one of them is a farmer or something. I have no idea. A lot of these books I've already read, so I'm trying to find ones that either I haven't read for a long time, like the Tested Air book. I'm noticing that a lot of the Bridgerton series comes up, and for whatever reason, I sort of refuse to read those books. I'm not really sure why, but I guess I could pick up the second book in the Bridgerton series, The Viscount Who Loved Me. But again, I'm like, what does that have to do with animals? Like, because he's allergic to bees or afraid of bees? Like, I don't know what that would have to do with animals. Let's continue looking. Okay, maybe I could pick up Mr. Impossible by Loretta Chase. It looks like the female main lead is some kind of scholar or scientist. So maybe she's studying, I don't know, some kind of animals? I might have to do a little more like in-depth research, but there are a few that I could consider. That feels like a good place to pause. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. For our third spin, I would love to get more romance or fiction. Those two are really what I'm like hoping for. Okay, fanfic. I've had some good luck with fan fiction, so okay. Not mad at it, but let's see what kind of fan fiction. Okay. This is the wheel I get nervous where I'm like, what if this book doesn't exist? What if I don't have it? What if it's, I don't know, what if it doesn't exist? Then I have to read an extra pick. Oh, okay, with a stunning cover. This might be a tricky one because like not all fan fiction has covers in the traditional sense. Oh no. Oh dear. Let's just do a Google search. Fan fiction with pretty cover. I am at a loss. I don't know how to look this up. Like on Archive of Our Own, nothing has covers. Here's what we're gonna do. I have to add like a punishment spin. So instead of 5 picks, I'll have 6. But what we'll do is we'll do a secondary spin for fan fiction and see if I at least get something that I can locate. So let's try again. This game keeps me on my toes, let me tell ya. No, don't do an ugly cover. Oh, shoot. Okay, animals again. So we're gonna do take 2 with animals. If you have any that come to mind, please drop them in the comments down below. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at fandoms. Okay, here's what I might consider picking up. It's called Dreamlight Valley Nightmare by Philosophia 12 on Archive of Our Own. And it's looking like it's a Disney villain fanfic. So it's got different characters like Ursula from Little Mermaid, some of the characters from Monsters, Inc., Scar. So I think this might fit the bill. It's a little long, but I'll give it a go. I'll choose a weekend in June and like commit to it. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, here we go. Our 4th pick. What are we gonna be reading? I'm stressed. I kind of love how this game really puts me on edge. Okay, a graphic novel. I do feel like I pick poetry and graphic novel more than any other category, but maybe that's just me. All right, what kind of graphic novel are we? I mean, I did just buy a whole bunch. Ooh, sorry, I just got a text message if you heard the ping. All right, what kind of graphic novel am I reading? Please let it be something that I can like reference easily. Okay, favorite trope. I love the flexibility of this. All right, it's a bit of a stretch, but I think I'm gonna try and pick up Spy Family. I think there's a bit of like a forced marriage of convenience, as this main character is forming his family to help them solve crimes. I actually don't know too much, but that's why I quickly read the back and that's what I picked up. So I own it, which is great. I think it's a good enough match for this pick. So here we go, Spy Family. Moving on to our 5th pick. Give me something different, not science fiction, not fan fiction, and not a graphic novel. Okay, great. I love fantasy. I love that for me. What kind of fantasy are we gonna be reading? I don't even know what to expect anymore. Okay. A TBR vet. A few that come to mind already. I mean, I'm in the middle of Words of Radiance, and that has been on, this series has been on my TBR for like 5 or 6 years. So I think continuing to read and finish Words of Radiance would count. Another fantasy that's been on my TBR for, I mean, so long is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. I have wanted to read that since like 2018, 2019 maybe. So I could read that. Finally picking up Malice would also be would also fit this category. Yeah, those are probably a good place for me to start. 3 that have been on my TBR for so long. I should get to them. Maybe I will this summer. Our last reading roulette pick. This is my 6th pick, a punishment edition, because of my first fan fiction one was like, I don't know how to find it. Okay. I would love a contemporary romance. I would love a fantasy romance. I would love literary fiction. Great, all of these are good. Fantasy romance, huzzah! Okay, I love that for me. I always have like a gazillion that I could read from. So the grand finale, what kind of fantasy romance are we gonna read? Just let it be something that exists in the world and we'll be good to go. Okay. A green cover. Interesting. Okay. Let's go to my want to read. Okay, I'm gonna take a little perusal. I could potentially pick up The Gilded Wolves. Is there a romance subplot? Sorry. Boop, I got a text. Is there a romance subplot in there? I honestly don't know. It does say romance. Okay, so maybe I pick up The Gilded Wolves. I could pick up Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I don't know much, but I think it's kind of a enemies to lovers, because I think the main girl is like prisoner or captured somewhere. But that has a very mysterious green cover. I don't know if the audio exists for that, but that might be a good one for me to pick up. I've perused my whole Goodreads want to read list, and I think those are some options for me. Interesting, very interesting. Let's take a deep breath. The anxiety, the tension, the excitement has come to an end. I must settle my mind and spirit. I have an interesting collection of TBR prompts here. The first one that we picked was a science fiction from an anti-TBR author or series. Here are the few that I'm thinking of. Next was a historical romance that has animals somehow in the story or on the cover or in the title or whatever. Here are a few that I'm thinking of. Then the third pick was a fan fiction with a stunning cover. I don't know how to look that up, so I had to give myself an extra spin, and we tried again for the miscellaneous word spinning wheel and ended up with a fan fiction that has animals again in some way, shape, or form. So for that, I think I'm gonna read Dreamlight Valley Nightmare, which seems to be a Disney villains fanfic. So sure, sounds good. My fourth pick was a graphic novel with a favorite trope. For this, I think I'm gonna pick up Spy Family. I really don't know that much about it, but I like manga, so I feel like that counts enough for me. My fifth pick was a fantasy that's a TBR veteran. Here are the few that I'm thinking of for this. And then my sixth and final pick was a fantasy romance with a green cover. So here are some of the books that I'm thinking of for that. I'm genuinely not sure what I'm gonna pick up, so you'll have to stick around and come back for the June wrap up to see what we got up to this month. This upcoming month. I love reading roulette because it gives me a little bit of guidance on what to pick, but enough flexibility that I can lean into the mood reader of myself, like the mood reader energy, which I really appreciate. Before we come to a close, I don't think any of the books that have come up in this reading roulette possibility TBR game, I don't think any of them have repeating words for the buzzwordathon challenge. So let me reopen up Goodreads and hone down a little bit about what I might read for that. This might be harder than I expected. I mean, there are a lot of books like this, but are there any books like this that I want to read? That is the question. In honor of my mother, she loves Mary Higgins Clark. I could read Loves Music, Loves to Dance. I guess I could read In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I don't know if I'm in the mood for like a mystery thriller though. You know what I could read? Red Seas Under Red Skies. This is the second book in the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. I read the first book, oh my God, maybe a year or two ago. Oh, would I have to reread it though? Could I get away with not rereading The Lies of Locke Lamora? I could probably just like read a summary and be good enough to go. Oh, that might be able to kill two birds with one stone because this is also a TBR veteran and it's a fantasy. I'll honestly probably pick up the Scott Lynch book, followed by maybe the Mary Higgins Clark mystery. I don't know. Okay, well that at least like I've started thinking about what might fit for this prompt. So cool. Alrighty, that's all. Happy June reading. If you made it this far, feel free to leave a beach emoji of some kind because for me, it's about to be summer where vacations are coming up. I'm very excited. So much time to read. I can't wait. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video soon. Bye.